Okay, as Secretary Morales had mentioned, we have Dustin Renner and Kegan Prentice is going to speak to us a little bit from the Secretary of State's office. Make sure we don't have any questions or anything for them, so.
I'll start. Okay, so we don't have any formal presentation for you guys. We are just here to answer any questions you may have. I know when the citizenship law first went into effect on July 1, there were a lot of questions. I think there were 3 trainings had on the non-citizenship sort of hopper. And also we're here to answer any other questions that you may have just from our office. The election division may not be able to answer, civics may not be able to answer. So we're happy to answer anything. Okay.
So you said you've, or Secretary of State said that he's had 3 meetings so far about the vote, or not the vote center.
Yep.
The municipal elections. Could you tell us, like, what are you hearing? Or is public attending? Actually, there's one in Evansville tonight, but I'm here. So it's, I'm gonna totally miss that one.
So I will give sort of my thoughts on it, and then I'll let Dustin sort of go into what he has seen so far. So at each meeting we've had about...
Can you repeat what she asked? We can't hear
Oh, yeah, okay. So she asked the feedback we're getting at these public meetings related to moving municipal elections and vote centers statewide. So at each meeting we've had about 20 people make comments. There have been about 30 plus that have attended each meeting. So I think that's pretty good turnout at each meeting. So if we have 5, we'll have about 150 people show up, 100 people make comments. So I think we're getting good feedback. And we also set up an email, and we're getting comments in that as well. Thus far, I say the public is against moving municipal elections statewide. They feel like it would, I don't know the best way to put it, but they feel like they like the process. You're more informed of the local issues on those off years. So they feel like it's better for democracy to leave it that way. Obviously, they acknowledge that there's low voter turnout. So generally, the public is against moving municipal elections, at least the comments we've received. The vote center, they're more 50-50. Each meeting's different. So that really surprised me. And it doesn't seem, on either issue, it doesn't seem like it's partisan at all. I feel like it's generally just split all over the place. The theme that keeps on coming up is local control on both issues. So, I mean, that's something we'll provide in our report from local comments. I think that's been reiterated time and time again at all 3 meetings, emphasizing local control. So maybe making it just for, especially the municipal election portion, the vote center is already local control, but municipal elections, just making that fully, the municipalities have full control over when to hold their elections. So, and I'll let Dustin sort of give his thoughts.
Yeah, no, I have the same analysis. I'm very surprised by the 50-50 split on vote centers. And then obviously, yeah, everybody's been very vocal in opposition to moving municipal elections. They're just very worried about local elections getting drowned out by the national politics. And so, they just want to keep it separate. But yeah, they've been well attended and well received so far. I'm looking forward to doing the final 2.
The municipal election, is it for the bigger cities that they're opposed to, or is it even the smaller towns? Because I know in my county, the smaller towns want them moved desperately.
So the meetings we've held so far, we held one in Muncie, one in Indianapolis, and one down in Clark County. I'll give one example down in Clark County. The mayor of Charleston, which is a pretty small town in Clark County, opposed moving municipal elections. She acknowledged, yes, it's a cost for the city, but they like having the local issues being the focus of those off-year elections. So that's just that's obviously one city in one county. So our report's we're not gonna make any recommendations in the report we give over to the General Assembly. We'll provide the feedback, the data that we've collected. We'll provide the feedback that we've received from the public. I think we'll emphasize that voters brought up local control, allowing municipalities to make this decision just across the board. So I'm not going to make any guesses on what the General Assembly will do with what we give them.
Are you including in your report the voter turnout percentages?
Yes, that is. So if you, I think the Secretary mentioned it, we'll be hosting a online virtual meeting with just county clerks and election officials to provide sort of the presentation that we've been giving and get feedback from everyone in this room. So I can say in the report about municipal elections, the main things we analyzed were cost, the total cost of the election, cost per vote in the elections, midterm, presidential, and municipal elections, turnout across the presidential election, the 3 different elections, ballot drop-off throughout the various elections, and then the demographic makeup of voters in various elections. So that's what we looked at, and the Vote Center study looked at cost per vote, turnout, cost of equipment, cost of poll workers throughout Vote Center and non-Vote Center counties. So it's a pretty substantive study. At each meeting, it takes about an hour and 20 minutes to go through. So I think when people come in and they sign up for testimony, they sign up to not talk about either of the issues we're there to discuss, and then they sit through an hour and 20-minute presentation. I think they're caught off guard, to be honest, and then they're like, oh, then they ask like a question that's on what we're actually talking about, and I think they've been very productive, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, I would agree with Kegan. I've felt the temperature in the room go down immensely. From when we started, you can tell people are there to really unload on us, and then after an hour and a half of a presentation, just strictly data, you could feel that they've cooled down quite a bit.